The movie I have chosen to discuss for this project is the 2009 motion picture The Sword with No Name, or, excuse my pronunciation, Bolkochirom Nabitriom in Korean, which translates to like fireworks, like butterflies. This movie is a fictional depiction of the death of Empress Myeongsong and the events that led up to it. Furthermore, I would like to continue this video by giving information about the director and cast of this movie. The director of this movie is named Young-Gyun Kim. He's also known for writing and directing two other movies named Wani and Juna and The Red Shoes, which came out in 2001 and 2005 respectively. The protagonist of this movie is named Moo Myung. He's played by actor Cho Sung-woo, who is best known for his roles in Taza the High Rollers and Marathon, which came out in 2006 and 2005 respectively. Empress Myeongsong, also known as Min Ja-young before her wedlock, is played by actress Soo Ah-hae, who's best known for her roles in A Family and Midnight FM, which came out in 2004 and 2010 respectively. As we continue on with the cast, we start to look at characters who are not as prominent as Empress Myeongsong or Moo Myung. First, we have King Go-jong, who is played by actor Kim Young-min, who is best known for his roles in Spring, Summer, Fall, Winter, and Spring, and Lucky Chan-sil, which came out in 2003 and 2019 respectively. Next, we have Dae Won-gun, who is played by Ho Jin-chun, who is best known for his roles in I Saw the Devil and A Dirty Carnival, which came out in 2010 and 2006 respectively. Finally, we have No-jeon, who is played by Jae Wong-choi, who is best known for his roles in Stranger and Take Point, which came out in 2017 and 2018 respectively. Now, I would like to give some history on the upcoming of Empress Myeongsong and King Go-jong. First, we will start with King Go-jong. In 1864, King Cheol-jong of Joseon died under suspicious circumstances. He had no children and hadn't chosen a successor. Queen Cheorin, from a powerful family called the Andong Kim clan, claimed the right to choose the next king, even though tradition said it would be the most senior queen dowager. The Pungyeongjo clan, rivals to the Andong Kim clan, saw an opportunity. They convinced Yi Ha-young, a distant descendant of a past king, to support his young son, Yi Myung-bok, as the next king. Yi Myung-bok was too young to rule on his own, so Yi Ha-young became a regent. Before the news of King Cheol-jong's death was known to the public, Yi Ha-young and the Pungyeongjo clan took the royal seal, which was needed for a legitimate reign. This gave Queen Sinjeong from the Pungyeongjo clan the power to choose the new king. In the fall of 1864, Yi Myung-bok was crowned as King Go-jong, with his father Yi Ha-won acting as the regent, or also known as the Dae Won-gun. Yi Ha-won was a strong leader who brought reforms and eliminated corrupt officials from various clans, including the Andong Kim clan, which he blamed for the country's problems. In summary, a power struggle occurred after Kim Cheol-jong's death, with the Pungyeongjo clan taking control and placing Yi Myung-bok, also known as King Go-jong, on the throne with the support of his father, Yi Ha-won, also known as the Dae Won-gun. Now let's discuss Empress Myeongsong. The future queen consort was born into a noble family called the Yi-hong-min clan on November 17, 1851 in Yeoju, Gyeonggi Province, Korea. Her family had a prestigious history with ancestors who held high positions in the government and even included two previous queen consorts. Her father, Min Chi-rok, was a scholar who had two marriages. His first wife, Lady O, passed away without having any children. After 3 years of mourning, he married Lady Yi, who later became the future queen's mother. The queen-to-be was called Lady Min before her marriage. Sadly, when she was 7 years old, her father died from an illness. She was then raised by her mother and other relatives for 8 years until she moved to the palace and became a queen. When King Go-jong was 15 years old, his father wanted him to get married. They chose a girl named Ja-young, also known as Queen Min, from their own noble family. She was kind and pretty, but also ambitious. They got married when she was 16, and she became the queen. The queen was different from the previous queens. She didn't like fancy parties and spent time reading books and learning about many things. She wanted to be more than just a social figure. In summary, the future queen was born into a noble family. Her father died when she was young, and she became the queen when she married the king. Tragically, her mother was later killed in an assassination. Now we can discuss what actually led up to the assassination of Empress Myeongsong. The Empress advocated stronger ties between Korea and Russia. These were her ideals. In an attempt to block Japanese influence in Korea. Myaru Goro, the Japanese minister to Korea at that time and a retired army lieutenant general, backed the faction headed by the Dae Won-gun, whom he considered to be more sympathetic to Japanese interests. The Empress was able to get such a powerful position because she was able to impeach the Dae Won-gun with the help of her cohort as queen. Her anger with him started when he blamed her for not being able to bear a healthy living child. These same ideologies would end up getting the Empress killed. The rise of Japan occurred through the Meiji Restoration, which transformed the country into a modern military power. Japan, with its new military power, was eager to expand its influence and ideas over Korea. Japan was also trying to instigate reform in Korea, which King Go-jong and the Empress did not agree with. In order to counter Japan's possible influence on Korea, the Empress advocated a pro-Russia policy for protection. The Japanese government saw the king and empress as the only thing stopping them from taking Korea. For this reason, the Japanese went ahead and killed the Empress. Now let's discuss a summary of the plot in the actual movie itself. The movie begins with the killing of Christian people in Korea, maybe to give light to the idea that outside influences were not allowed. The movie actually starts when Moo Myung and Min Jae-young meet on the river, and through the scenes of the movie and the expressions on their face, you can tell that they are falling in love with each other. However, ultimately Min Jae-young is taken away from Moo Myung because she must marry King Gojong and fulfill her duties as the queen. In spite of this, Moo Myung decides that he cannot give up on his love and that no matter what, he will protect Min Jae-young. He goes to join the guards at the royal palace, but they tell him that it will not be that easy. He must pass a test in which guns will be fired at him to test out a new bulletproof vest. He's able to pass this test, which ultimately leads him to being able to join the guards. As the movie progresses, we see that Queen Min becomes a very non-traditional queen as she decides to do things like read and further her education. Throughout the movie, she is seen engaging in politics and wants modernization for Korea. In the movie, we can even see that she holds lunches with several wives of foreign ambassadors. After she has a near-death experience, King Gojong decides that he wants to spend the night with his wife, Queen Min. Moo Myung is asked to stand outside the door and protect the two, but it is clear that he becomes uncomfortable as his love is with another man, and he just has to listen to what is happening inside. Moo Myung is removed from the palace that same day because he almost let an assassin sneak by him while he was watching the door that held the room which the King Gojong and Empress Myeongsung were in. As we move on through the movie, Daewon-gun does not like how Queen Min is trying to run the palace and hates her ideas to modernize to other Western countries. This is when the Daewon-gun brings 100 people to kill the Empress, but Moo Myung shows off his beautiful swordsmanship and kills all of them. As King Gojong and Queen Min were now safe, they were able to run the country how they wanted just for a moment. However, this time is cut short by the fact that the Japanese want Queen Min assassinated. They send a group of over 50 assassins to kill Queen Min, and Moo Myung himself could not even stop this force. The movie ends with both Queen Min and Moo Myung being killed as they could fight no longer. Finally, I would like to talk about my takeaways and what I have learned through this movie. First off, I would like to speak about the conflict between Korea and Japan that I learned about. Although this movie portrays a different image than what happened in history, it is sort of easy to make out what happened and why Japan wanted to take over Korea. Japan was extremely power-hungry with all of their new military power and wanted to invade and occupy all those countries who were near them. Queen Min and King Gojong were extremely opposed to this as they were fighting for their country. I think nationalism also plays a big role in this movie because the Queen and King wanted to protect their people and country. However, Japan never took no for an answer, and as soon as they realized that the Queen was the only thing stopping them, they had her killed. After the death of the Queen, the Gaba reforms occurred, which were suggestions to the Korean government by the Japanese. These reforms were suggesting modernization but were overseen by the Japanese. Now, I would like to discuss the theme of sacrificing love and power and how they go hand in hand in this movie. I think both Moo Myung and Queen Min both can be seen sacrificing love for power in different ways in this movie. Moo Myung is one of the best assassins in Korea, and he moves in secrecy until he falls in love with the Queen. When she is ripped away from him, he has to sacrifice his power as an assassin and swordsman to go become a guard in the royal palace. The same can be said for Queen Min, as she also sacrificed her love with Moo Myung to leave and become the queen of the Joseon dynasty. She leaves her love interest so that she can pursue greater things like education and politics, which eventually lead her to become empress, which is an extremely powerful role. Finally, one last aspect of this movie that caught my eye was the incredible swordsmanship and CGI used in the movie to show off beautiful action scenes throughout. One scene that stood out to me specifically was the scene where Moo Myung is fighting on a boat against his foe. Both sides are extremely balanced, and this movie highlights the beautiful jumps and sword movements that creates amazing fighting scenes. This aspect may have not stuck out to everyone, but it's something that I thoroughly enjoyed watching because I love action movies. Although the CGI may seem forced at times, and it may be a little unrealistic for Moo Myung to defeat 100 people, he became one of my favorite characters due to his willpower and ability to fight so gracefully. Thank you.